There we go. Hello, Joelle.
Hello, Jeff. How
Oh,
are you?
I'm very well. Look at that view behind you. How gorgeous. Wow. So
We,
I think you saw that I couldn't connect with Kaur earlier and they had to start it. And so I was a little nervous, but it's all good. And I see you beautifully. We've been a gorgeous connection. I love you.
good. They have 4G, full
That's
4G.
awesome. All right. So can you start, Joelle? Tell us who you are, what your job is, and your story in wine, how you got where you are.
Okay. So, Joelle, I'm an enologist. I'm from the south of France and graduated from enology and winemaking in the southwest of France. Then did several winemaking experience in south of France, in Bordeaux, in California, and then fall in love with a German from the north of Germany, a Viking, and so I joined him, and there was no vines, unfortunately, there, and so I switched from production to communication. And for many years, I became a freelance journalist, and I wrote both for scientific publications and wine magazines.
Wow.
That until I could convince my husband to go to France. And so we moved to Champagne, to the Champagne region in 2008. And then I joined the Association of Enologists in Champagne until last March, where I had the opportunity to join the house Champagne Jacquart. And that was for me a great opportunity to join a champagne house, which I knew from the other side as a journalist, and to join the winemaking team. So we are 4 enologists at Jacquart, and I'm in charge of the consistency of the style, the les assemblages, the blendings, with my 3 colleagues who are in charge of the 3 wineries we have in the 3 parts of the vineyard. Voilà.
Wow. I have so many questions, but I first have to say you're as much of a delight as Tokar promised. So thank you for joining. So can you tell us where we are, what we're looking at?
Yes, because we have found a great spot. So that's interesting because we are more or less in the connection of 3 parts of the Champagne vineyard. So Champagne vineyard, 34,000 hectares. It's about 6-7% of the total French vineyard. It's 150 kilometers northeast from Paris. It's about one hour drive. And we are the vineyard, the most septentrional vineyard. You don't have vines above Champagne. So it's really the border of the grow of the vine. So 34,000 hectares, which are very, very marcelized. You have many, many plots in Champagne. The average plot is 12 acres. To give you an idea, this plot, which is a nice plot here, coming from, can you show, from this border here, you see the difference of color here to this aeration raft, that's 95 acres.
Okay.
And so the average plot in Champagne is 12 acres. So you imagine how parcelized it is.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, a big vineyard. And the reason why we are here is that we are at the junction of 3 big parts of the vineyard.
Okay.
One, I didn't present you, but I thank Gaëlle. Thank you, Gaëlle, who is holding the telephone, so I can use my hands as a Mediterranean woman to talk. So can you show? So you see, so we are here totally south.
Yep.
And the woods that you see here, that's the Marne River
Okay.
going east in direction to Paris. And so la vallée de la Marne valley, of the Meunier varietal. And here we are between the city of Épernay that you see here with its beautiful balloon. You can take it, have a nice view, and can have a cup of champagne, a glass of champagne there. And so that's Épernay. North is Reims. And so between Épernay and Reims, you have la montagne de Reims, the Reims mountain, hill, and that makes an S shape, and that's the kingdom of Pinot Noir. And we are here. And we are here, sorry, in Ailly, which is one of the historical villages of Champagne. You see here the church of Ailly, well known with King Henri IV, and we are here really in a plot, in a place very well known for Pinot Noir, and it's a Grand Cru.
Okay,
and
wow.
Behind me, yes, exactly between those two hills is the start of Côte des Blancs. Direction south is Côte des Blancs. Here is behind c'est les coteaux d'Épernay, the hills of Épernay. And the other that you see here, that's the vineyard of Chouilly, Grand Cru, also in Chardonnay. And so south is Chardonnay. So here we are at the junction between the three varietals of Champagne. Voilà.
I don't know if it helps, but you've already explained very well. If you look up on my screen, I put a little map up there if that helps explain people. So, but that was great. So, that answered my question that I was going to just ask. So
we have a winery in direction to the east in the Meunier region.
Okay.
We have the winery, you see the ancient facilities here behind me, and the more modern ones are in the Chardonnay part in the south. And we have a third winery more in the south in direction to Burgundy, in La Côte des Bars. That's about 1 hour drive from here, where we have beautiful, juicy Pinot Noir.
And why do you have, I mean, it's kind of in a way obvious, but maybe not. Why do you have 4 different wineries?
In the Champagne décret d'appellation text, you are obliged, for the quality of the champagne, it's very important to keep the berries entire until the press. And so that's the reason why in Champagne you always hand cut, not machine harvested, to keep the berries. You load them in small 50 kilos the cases, so that the grapes don't scratch. And then you go quickly to the pressing center.
I see.
Press them, and that's to keep the freshness of the juice.
Gotcha.
Oxidation is the enemy of the champagne, and so we have 3 wineries to be close to our vineyard, to our you have 3,000 pressing centers in Champagne.
Wow.
To be really close to your vineyard.
That's brilliant, and people think that, like, I was blown away when I visited last year or sometime in the past, how spread out, how big Champagne is. It's really quite large.
So we are very north, and as you see, it's only the slope, the hills which are planted. You see here you have 10-12% slope, you say, in average.
Yeah.
And that's the only part which is planted under Tiefer you have freezing risks, and both it's protected, and you have only wood, and the wood play this role of moderating the climate.
So how does, and I think this is everyone's struggle in Champagne, how do you differentiate yourself? How is Jacquart unique and different and special within the world of Champagne?
Yeah, so Jacquart, I like to say, and I'm coming to say, Jacquart is a startup in the world of Champagne, because we were born in 1964. We were created by a group of vine growers. So that's already more than 50 years old, but that's very young at the scale of Champagne region. And so the idea was to propose a more modern, a more contemporary style in Champagne. And so that's why we enhanced the Chardonnay in all our cuvées, and it's the main varietal in all our cuvées. We no wood, only stainless steel, and so purity, fresh, elegant, refined champagne. That's really what we're looking for. It's really a champagne which wants to be drunk outside in nature, refreshing, fresh, on rooftops, also in the city, and a champagne which brings a relaxed view of luxury, and another view of luxury, more relaxed and positive champagne.
I like that. That's a good answer too. It's very clear. You're a good explainer of things. So how does why are there 4 winemakers, and how do you do your job to maintain consistency over the year and then over the decade?
So we have the chance to rely on, say, an incredible vineyard of 350 hectares over more than 60 different villages. And that's a strength you cannot imagine in Champagne. And that's why and that's because we rely on these groups of vine growers that in the meantime has grown. And so we have vineyards everywhere in the Champagne. So small plots, but everywhere in the Champagne. And that's for me the main source, or what I rely on. I know that every year, even if this part of the vineyard is frozen, this part of the vineyard has botrytis, this part of the vineyard is much better, I know I can do my market. And that's the first point. So this vineyard gives us an incredible, luxurious approvisionnement. Second point is those 3 specialists. We have 3 great winemakers, great facilities, very modern, and so we can ensure top quality to that point. And then we have a big group of small vine growers, but it's still a big group, and so that ensure also financial capacities. And in Champagne how costful it is to store, to age your wine, and at Jacquart we made the choice to age all our wines on the lees for a minimum of 3 years, when the regulation asks you 15 months. And so that has a financial cost, of course, but in terms of Reifung, and that's German, of maturity of the wine, it's just perfect. And so we can have refined, upright wines, but with the aging on the lees, we can build this creamy, softy mousse, which makes the champagne, which gives you will to have another glass. More.
Yeah, definitely. That's the one thing I will drink champagne earlier in the day than anything because it somehow it wakes you up.
Yeah, that was the first thing that Marilyn Monroe was
Oh, right.
put. She was asking, or at least when she was in Cannes, she was asking for a glass of champagne in the morning.
Can you?
I've seen in Cahors, in the video you were presenting in Cahors and in the others, you were showing la veraison, the turning of
Yes,
the color.
I'm
So
fascinated by that.
to tell you that in Champagne it's starting too, and
Oh,
that's also
awesome.
the reason why I I took this parcel because it's a Pinot Noir, and that's
Uh-huh.
easier to see on the black.
No, you are
And
so sweet.
I'm happy to tell you it wasn't there yesterday, but it's
Really?
yes, that's
Oh my gosh.
the
What good timing. Thank you,
yes,
grapes.
yes, we are lucky. Well, it's very hot today. It was
Yeah,
not that hot in the last days, but today it's
that's
really.
amazing. I have to say to Gail, be very careful on those stairs. She's doing such a good job. I don't want her to fall down.
She's a specialist.
Joelle, can you explain some of the environmentally conscious things that you do towards sustainability?
Mhm. So, um, you have here an example. You see, in this parcel, we don't use these insecticide,
Okay.
the insecticide herbicides anymore.
Yep.
We use barks, you see.
Oh,
So the advantage of the barks is that the weeds don't grow, and it also keeps moisture on the soil, in the soil when it's hot, and when it's raining, it helps the rain, the water, to go into the soil and not to ruisseler, to
to slide.
fly. Huh? So that's an expensive solution.
Yeah.
Other solution is to plow,
Uh-huh.
to mechanically work your vineyard. Um, we all go in this direction. So there is a commitment at the scale of the Champagne, the Champagne vineyard. Sorry, no more herbicides by 2025.
Wow.
So 100% of the vineyard without herbicides, and all the vineyards converted to an environmental standard before 2030, or by the year 2030. So, as I told you, we are here very northern. We are here under continental but also oceanic influence. So
Okay.
it's rainy quite a lot in Champagne. Biodynamic.
Oh, I'm losing you. I don't know if you can still hear me, but it's data lag for a second. Maybe go back up where you were, Gael. These ladies are so much fun. Fan club after this. Ah, shoot. Okay. There we go. We're back. We're back.
Okay,
We're back. Thank you.
that's very a
Yeah.
professional. She has two telephones.
Oh no, did it die? That's crazy because I sometimes
Oh,
the phone dies.
it's so hot. It's
Oh, it's the
really hot.
heat. Ugh,
You don't
yeah.
imagine that his telephone is. So I was saying, Bio and biodynamic represent only 3% of the vineyard.
Mm-hmm.
And here at the limit where you can, we can be bio. But in my region where I'm coming from, in the south of France, your bio, it's just natural. You have you have 3,000 and more, 5,000 hours of sunshine in the year. Here we have 2,500. So it means you don't have sunshine, you have clouds, you have rain, and when it's wet, fungus is a real tema. I told you, the vineyard is working really hard, and I think being under an HVE, have you heard of that, Jeff?
Yes, HVE. Yes, I wondered about it in Champagne.
Voila. So by 2030, all the vineyard will be either HVE or VDC. VDC is a HVE special for the vineyard.
Okay.
Voila.
And for people listening, I just want to say that HVE is high economic or high ecological value and high environmental value. Sorry.
Environmental value. And I show you a little trick. I had not planned that, but look that. Have you already seen that?
No.
Alors,
yes, the confusion.
Voila, sexual confusion system. And so that's to prevent using insecticides, and particularly against two very damaging papillon.
Butterfly. Moth.
Butterfly. Cochilis and Eudemis, that's their sweet names, were doing many damage when it's the flower. And so here you have some hormones reproducing the hormone of the female. And so when you put many, and so you have normally you have every 1 and so meter, you cover the vineyard, and so the male get completely confused. There are too many females, and so he cannot mate, and so he cannot reproduce, and so you don't kill any animal, you just prevent the reproduction. And Champagne is the leading vineyard in the world for this system of preventing insects by preventing the reproduction of the insect.
I have a. No, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, Joelle.
Yeah. So doing small observations, some small tricks, you can turn the vineyard to be more environmental friendly. You know, there is a saying to say, the small efforts of many do more than the les prouesses of 2 or 3 people. And I'm very positive for the vineyard of Champagne. What concerns Jacquart, for our 3 wineries, we have 1/3 of the vineyard which is under HVE VDC or bio. So 1/3, and I think at the level of the Champagne at this time it's a 20%. So we are in the process, and we are going in this direction, and I'm confident.
That's so good to hear, because we all have to do our part, and it's nice to see that you're doing that. Tokar was telling me that you still do the traditional blending process using hand blending with a measuring cylinder and not tasting software. I've never heard of tasting software.
Yes, we're very traditional in what is the winemaking. Well, you can do pre-assembling, and you use softwares for that. As I told you, we taste wine from 60 different villages. I don't know how many samples. we are busy 3 months with that,
Wow.
and I don't know how many hundreds of samples we taste. And so until now, we do it. We take our notes, and then we make assembling in dans l'éprouvettes, and we say
Mm-hmm.
no, yes, we start again, and so that takes a lot of time. And those logiciels, those softwares, they
Mm-hmm.
help you pre-assembling.
Okay.
But the human is always important at the end.
Yeah. You have to be very good at taking notes and then compiling them. I've done a few of those blending things on a small scale, so I can't imagine all that goes into that. It's a lot.
Mm-hmm. Those 3 person I'm working with, they have a huge memory. It's amazing, and they tell you, well, that will, in 10 years it will taste so. And you're okay.
Wow, that's so incredible. I can't fathom that.
Mm.
Joelle, we're getting close to a half an hour, and I don't want to take too much of your time, but can you tell how the quarantine has been in Champagne, if people were able to continue work, how it affected the cave, and then where you are now?
Yes. So we have been stopped at the company. When was that? It was the 11th of March.
Mm-hmm.
We had the chance to have the 3 wineries, so 2 were stopped, 1 continued working, and then we switched. So we managed to have a minimum of production for the whole time. So that's what's the production, what's the market. So like every business, and maybe yours, of course, we have been affected. But well, so we first of all we have the chance to be to have many different circuits de distribution, many different
Mm-hmm.
channels,
Yeah.
and so the gastronomy restaurants were completely closed. Export was closed, but the department stores, supermarkets still worked
Mm-hmm.
during le confinement, during quarantine. And we were happy to be in each channel, in every channel. So we did pretty good in those channels. Amazingly, sales of half bottles have never been so big. I don't know
Okay.
why. So people
Okay.
still drink champagne. And well, let's say now we concentrate on what comes after. We are we are positive. We are confident. You know, in Champagne, when you go, you look 100 years behind.
Yeah.
So we are in 2020. 1920 was just after World War One
Mm-hmm.
war. The vineyard was ruined.
Mm-hmm.
Reims was bombed. The
Yeah.
caves were bombed. And when you see the market, 1917, the Bolshevik Revolution, the Russian market closed.
Mm.
1919, prohibition in the USA, our second big
Yeah.
market, closed.
Oh, that's
And
right.
Germany, not to talk of Germany, they didn't want to drink champagne anymore. But yes, the Champagne region gathered. Um, we 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 have been working together. We have created organizations at that time which are still very active and which helped us to rebuild the vineyard, the market. And so, well, I think we have seen worse in the past,
Yeah.
and who remembers now First World War? Huh? So
Yeah.
let's
That's
be
very,
positive.
that's some, put it in perspective. One of the reasons I did this is to see the vines, and the fact the vines don't stop is very optimistic. And so it's cheering me on to see you guys out there doing the work to keep making wine for us. Are the bottle, like, is the if the bottle factory is closed, is there going to be enough bottles when you start to need them? And then since export stopped, do you have space to store the extra bottles that you have not been able to ship?
That's a good question. So Champagne sells 300 million bottles a year in average. And we have 1 billion bottles aging, maturing. So we have 3 years stock before us. So first, even if we didn't have the bottle, which is not the case, we can still provide you with champagne for a certain number of years. And that's a good question. I wanted Gaël, to show you something very unique, and that's also why the reason why I show you this parcel. Can you show? So what you see here in bricks, that's aeration rafts. And so you must imagine under this hill, it's a gruyere, it's a cheese of caves.
Oh, wow.
And when the UNESCO listed the Champagne on the World Heritage list, you know, they listed the vineyard, the houses, but also the caves, the top and the undersoil. And so in under Epernay, you have 100 kilometers of caves, more or less the same in Reims. And so we have pretty much room to store bottles. But we hope you will drink them so we don't have to store them too long.
Yes, we're going to get on that. Hopefully we're getting back. Well, the Northeast is getting under control. My restaurant's opening hopefully this month. So we're going to get back on it.
I know I've been putting on a very nice event in your restaurant in the past. And I hope we soon organize something again.
We definitely will. So as soon as you can travel and we can let you come over, we definitely have to do something like that again, because that was a lot of fun. So Joelle, thank you. You are such a delight. I think you have a fan club on here. Everybody that's watching was saying what a delight you are. It's been a real pleasure to chat with you, and I really hope I get to meet you in person very, very soon, but I feel we're friends now.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Gaël. And thank you, Tokar, for putting us in contact.
Yes, thanks Tokar and all the Regal team, and thank you, Gaël. Be careful on those stairs. Have a nice day now. Thank you, Joelle.
Bye-bye.